July 5th, there was the Black Sabbath / Ozzy Osbourne farewell show. And Marty is our resident metal up your ass guy. So I want to throw it to Mr. Zamora to talk about how awesome that day was.
In a word, fantastic. It was, I'm sure a lot of people saw it, and this is not news to anyone, but it was really good. There were some lowlights, but man, it was fantastic. Starting with the production. This was maybe the best streaming event production-wise I've seen for like a concert or, something like that, pay-per-view wise. It always seems to crash the server or, there's audio delay or whatever. I don't know who did it, but kudos. At one point, there was like 5.9 million people watching. And I didn't see anything. Maybe there was about 10 seconds where the audio went out. But other than that, it was perfect. And, we expect with something like that, you'd expect 3, 4, 5 cameras. There had to have been 20. I mean, they were everywhere. This was done right, done well. So kudos to them for recognizing the importance of this show. It was mostly about Black Sabbath and Ozzy, really, because this is it. This is it for him. But it was done well, and I'm glad. I have to probably, I think Sharon probably had a lot to do with it. Like, hey, let's make it perfect. This he's about done. So it started out with a bunch of bands that they were fine. I didn't really. I was busy doing other things, but man, right around Hailstorm is when I sat down, cold beer, and really good. That was a pretty good set. And in case anybody doesn't know, they were all really short sets. Everybody checked their ego, did 3 or 4 songs, and then got the fuck out of there. Like it was. I haven't seen ego checking like this since We Are the World. Like these people all were like, you know what, for Ozzy, we'll swallow whatever. And so they all agreed. We're just going to do a few songs and move on. And these are big group, big artists. So so it started with a bunch of bands. Hailstorm was the last one before Supergroup A is what they called it. And this had just a bunch of great people. Obviously, so Nuno Betancourt, I want to give a shout out to that guy. He did some yeoman's work. That dude, he was in both super groups and he was helping out with other shit. And I mean, you had killer guitar players on stage, and the solo comes and there's Nuno ripping it up, and Tom Morello's over there just playing the rhythm. I was impressed, man. He really did well. So all in all, this was fantastic. Everybody coming together, doing a Sabbath song or two, or Ozzy song, mostly Sabbath, and a few highlights. Where some of these guys, like you would expect these younger guys like a Billy Corgan. He wasn't part of the metal scene, but he did really well. They did Breaking the Law and they did Snowblind, which they did really well. That was Supergroup 2, by the way, and featuring
Marty. I hate to step in on you here, but who else was out there with Billy Corgan doing Judas Priest Breaking the Law? Who was there?
KK motherfucking Downing. I was so stoked. He was. My wife said, "Wow, he's an old dude." Yeah, he is. And then he just started shredding, and I recognize the guitar. It's the one he plays. It's that Flying V he plays. And man, I'll tell you what, the dude. I mean, there's a lot of old guys there, and a lot of them couldn't do it. So I'm trying to move kind of quickly because I know we don't have all day, and there's 1,000 people. But man, KK Downing, he ripped it up, and Drayman, he did some songs. His voice didn't really fit it, but he's a great singer, so it didn't matter. It was fine. You had Jakey Lee, and then they did these little vignettes. It was Jack Black. First one was Jack Black and these teenagers. And I got to tell you, man, I mean, Jack Black, he's Jack Black. He can sing and perform. He's good at it. But these kids ripped. They were fucking great, man. It was really good. but it was offsite. It was pre-recorded. Yeah, and then the supergroup B, Billy Corgan sang a few. Tom Morello, another yeoman. It was Rudy Sarzo. Man, he played song after song after song. He hung in there. He's an old guy too. Some other highlights: Sammy Hagar. He did "Flying High" again, which was pretty good. But man, when he did "Rock Candy," it was like he was back in his youth. It was amazing. I'm like, well, I'm going to do a Montrose song. So Sammy's got some pull. He's got some pull amongst these giants. Anyway, I'm yammering on here. I'm assuming that's what we want to do here.
That's part of the free for all. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it was really exciting, and I'm trying to cover a lot of shit here. Obviously, Travis Barker did his thing. He's outstanding.
He and Chad Smith, and who else? Who was the other drummer? They did the little drum off thing.
Well, they had a few drummers from some younger guys that I didn't really recognize, but they had Will Ferrell's lookalike.
Yes.
So,
Chad's a guy who fits in with everybody too. He's played with Sammy and
yeah. It's funny. I was telling my wife that he's kind of gotten this popularity based on people are like, hey, looks like Will Ferrell, and then everybody realized, oh, he's a really good drummer. Otherwise, he might have been obscure. There's a lot of good drummers that nobody ever heard of, and
he was killing it for a while with the Chili, still killing it with the Chili Peppers.
Sure, but I mean, it's there's a lot of guys, a lot of drummers that are in big bands that don't get invited to stuff, and this guy's on Jimmy Kimmel and doing stuff like that. So I'm just saying it got his name out there more and now he hates it, and people yell at him, "Will Ferrell, fuck you, buddy," But that boosted his popularity. It got his name out there. Anyway. Pantera was really good. Zakk Wylde doing his thing there. Zakk Wylde did a bunch of stuff. Obviously, his relationship with Ozzy, so that was good. I don't know if you guys have seen any highlights.
I whipped through as much as I could today, and I'm telling you, it's like, Lizzie Hale doing Perry Mason. Wow, that was the highlight of the non-super group. And just throwing those songs into the regular band sets. And Jake E. Lee, help me out, Marty. We're both Eddie fans. I think Jake E. Lee is kind of morphing into Eddie Van Halen at this stage.
Man, I'll tell you what, that guy, and it was a little weird when he first came out. He seemed like a little uncomfortable with the situation, but man, once he got going, man, he just showed everybody. When he was done, Morello and a few other guys were giving him that we're not worthy as he was walking off. These guys know. These guys are outstanding guitar players. They know who's the next level up.
Yeah, and it was definitely him playing his songs that he brought to Ozzy, "Ultimate Sin" and "Bark at the Moon." Obviously, the biggest two.
Yeah. Ozzy, he kind of. I'm sure everybody's heard that Ozzy was. Kind of worn out listening to all these guys do Randy Rhoads impressions. And then, Jake starts playing and he's like, what is that? Who is that? That's the guy. And, it speaks to his level of professionalism and talent that, you go from Randy Rhoads and you're impressed with this guy. That's something, man. So, so Pantera. Huh?
What did you think of Ozzy's set? And then of course.
Well, so Pantera. I'm kind of going in order of the show.
Okay.
Pantera did a few good, Cemetery Gates and Walk. They were really good, even though nobody can replace Dime and Vinnie Paul. But I'll tell you what. Again, Zakk Wylde, man, he did a pretty good job of filling in for one of the greatest of all time. They did Electric Funeral. That was really cool. Anyway, so Guns N' Roses comes on, and man, I don't know if you've seen any of it, but that poor guy, man, it's over. Not only his voice is shot, but he didn't seem to have the timing right or something. He was singing at too fast of a tempo, and he would finish the verse before they were done with the music for that verse, and then he was ready to jump ahead to the next verse, and you could see them just like, what is going? Slash is just like, what the hell? It was not good in any way. Well, his voice got better as the set went, and he was still not good. But It got a little
I
better.
think he still did the GNR. He still can do the GNR stuff, and the two songs they did from their catalog, he did well. I would hope so.
His voice is shot. It's shot.
Well, and here's the thing: they've been torn a lot. And I mean, know your limitations, I guess, maybe, but yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
you. And doing the Sabbath songs, maybe rehearse a little bit more. I don't know, but
I mean,
someone who filled in for Brian Johnson, amazingly, I was very impressed with what he did coming into AC/DC and taking over and finishing
Right.
out the tour. And Brian Johnson went down. It was, I think, lackluster might be the kindest we can say about it.
Well, between then and now, his voice has got no strength left. There's no power behind it. And I mean, I think you told me that they had a show in Sweden like a day before.
Yeah.
Well, that's on him then. I mean, you're damn near 60 years old. You know your voice. Is there a bigger show than this? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. You're going to go play Sweden?
Let me ask you this, because my biggest disappointment was a couple of days prior to the show, get the announcement from Wolfgang Van Halen, because he played with Ozzy's band when Ozzy got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so he was invited to this, and obviously his dad had a great relationship with Tony Iommi over the years. And 2-3 days beforehand, Mammoth backs out. And Wolfgang's explanation was, and speaking to what you're going with Axl, maybe overstraining his voice beforehand, Wolfgang backs out saying, well, the Creed tour, we're opening for Creed, so that starts the next day. So I've got to politely back off of this Ozzy thing. I'm like, well, do you want to go out there and represent your father and represent you? And let me, I'm not going to fix this in editing. I just will retract that very quickly and say, Wolfgang, I'm so impressed that he's making his own path. He's not relying on his father's theory. Although when the tribute shows to Taylor Hawkins, he showed he can be his dad if he wants to. Very, very well.
He is an amazing talent.
Yeah, he's his own musician. So, I mean, if you want to go out there and rip it up for Ozzy and this huge – there was so much metal on that stage and hard rock. So go out there and –
Oh, it would have been great to have him for some of these super groups. Like, it would have been fantastic. And here's why I don't give either one of them a pass, really. And who the fuck am I, right? But on Wolfgang's end, you know what the difference between you and Axl is? About 30 years. You'll be fine. You'll be fucking fine. But with Axl, you ought to know better. Hey, sorry, folks, we're going to have to cancel this show. We'll make it up to you. I got to sing for this fucking Sabbath tribute. He had to know. He had to know if that indeed is what was wrong. Either that or since the AC/DC thing, he's got nothing left. But it wasn't just the voice. It was sad to watch. It was
bad karaoke.
We're talking about his own songs. And it was like singing karaoke, but you don't exactly know the song or you don't exactly know the tempo of the song. And it was like you couldn't hear the band or something. It was really weird. Just trust me, folks. Watch it. You'll see what I mean. It was sad to see.
They did some deep cuts from the two least popular Sabbath albums.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I get it, deep cuts and all that, and everybody wants to be unique. But come on, man. This is a festival. This is, it's a one chance in a lifetime thing. And what is it? Junior's Eyes, Junior's Foot. I don't know what the hell the name of the song is.
Junior something from Never Say Die. Yeah.
You see, okay, Eric Porvoznik, music extraordinaire. Dude knows music, and he's like Junior something. That tells you that's not the song. What are you doing? That's not the song. Play one of the hits. Pick a good one, or pick a well-known deep cut. One of those semi-deep cuts. It's just a song, and it just killed the vibe. Everybody's like, what is that a GNR song or what are we doing? So many people didn't know.
Keeping it chronological, I'm gonna throw to you in the best way. Who came on after GNR to save the day and get things back on track?
The professionals of all professionals, the new metal gods, the guys they came a little after the original metal wave and absolute consummate professionals. They tore it up. They played the songs that you want to hear. They were tight. I think Hetfield's singing is getting better. There was a little vibrato I caught in there somewhere. Like before, he just was like, well, I guess I'll sing if I have to. Man, he's actually getting good, which sadly, maybe he found Axl's voice. But man, they saved the fucking day, man. They came on, and I think this has happened once before when Metallica was first coming up. They opened for GNR. After they were done with the set, everybody booed GNR when they came on. It's got a sting to have it happen again. I mean, holy shit. They were so good. Everybody was tight and focused, and there was no fucking around, no getting cute. They did a rock show. They did it properly. And man, I couldn't find one fault in it. It was just
one
really
Sabbath song, and then just every just hardcore banger. And thankfully, no Enter Sandman. It was just bam, bam, bam.
You mentioned egos getting checked. No egos getting checked, but Metallica checking their egos is a once in a blue moon event. So I'm glad we got to see it.
Oh man, you should have seen. Lars walked out, sat down behind the drums, and played, and smiled, and fucking looked like he was having a good time. I was like, "This is what you're supposed to fucking do." I mean, we only see the drama because we have the internet, but man, right. It was great. I can't say enough, man. I think they are, like them and the Foo Fighters. There's a few bands that they're just tight, and they just, they still represent rock properly. They don't, they're not burned out. They're not a shell of themselves. They're still ripping, man.
Before we get to the Ozzy and the Sabbath and the back to the beginning of the godfathers of it all, you kind of touched on it a little bit there with Metallica and Foo Fighters, but with Sabbath and Ozzy, and certainly Sabbath with Ozzy, not continuing in a live aspect, Iommi said there might be a studio album if they can make it right and make it feel right and not just going through the motions. But Metallica, I kind of see them as they are the pinnacle now. They are the godfathers of hard rock / metal.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. There's no one better.
Well, actually, hanging up right there, staring me in the face in a couple different instances there, we still have our favorite Maiden. Priest is still out there kicking it. So, I mean, those three are the stalwarts now.
Yeah, here's the difference. And I think Priest is about done. They're talking about wrapping it up.
They've said that for 10 years, though. Yeah,
that's true. Like Kiss. With Iron Maiden, they're still doing the thing. They're still releasing albums. They're still touring, and they still sound fantastic. But they are old guys, and I don't mean like kind of old like Metallica. I mean they're legitimate old guys, and it can only go so long, right? Like,
but you've seen them more recently, or actually we've both seen them recently. But
yeah, recently,
Dickinson still runs around that stage like a young man.
I can tell you this. I saw them in 1983 and then 5, I think. And comparing them to that night when I saw them just a couple 3 years ago, maybe a 10% drop off, maybe.
That's it.
It was almost imperceivable. It was. They are pretty amazing. But I agree. Metallica is they're the heir apparent. They're because they're still relatively young.
Mm-hmm.
And they still, man, they rip, man. It was so good having Robert Trujillo. I mean, what a great selection, man. The guy's such a consummate professional musician. He's so tight, and then he's fun to watch.
And Spider walking across the stage.
Yeah, he does cool shit. It's kind of dumb, but it's cool, man. I love it. I dig it. I mean, a lot of guys I'll just stand there and play, but I'm not one of those guys, man. You need to fuck it up some, do some shit. So, in conclusion to Metallica, well done, boys. You did what you were brought there to do, which was rock the joint. Nobody was on their seats. Everybody was jumping around. Everybody was into Metallica. And there's something I wanted to talk about. The crowd. There was the age was the age. There was no demographic. It was just people every age. I mean, there was people in their 70s, and I don't, obviously people bring their kids, but there was people in their 20s that they obviously went there by themselves. Like they went to that show because they wanted to go, and singing the words. They know the words to songs that are 10 years older than they are, and it's really good to see with metal.
40 years older than they are.
Yeah, we saw it with classic rock, and we saw it with like the singer-songwriters. The younger generation knows the songs because of their parents. And now we're seeing it with metal, which, wow, makes me feel old. But, man, it was really cool to see. I mean, just a lot of people of every it was like, oh, that's the other thing. Lots of women, a lot of women, more than your typical metal show, that's for sure. So it was fantastic.
Lindsey Hale bringing it. I mean, look, there's a fairly younger band, Lamb of God, Gojira, Rival Sons.
Yeah. There's
all these younger bands, and this is a nice transition to let the younger crowd, fans of this band, these bands, know that they pay their respects proper to Sabbath, and then Sabbath's not going to get lost on people.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I don't know whose brainchild this is. I'm assuming it's Sharon, or maybe it was just Ozzy. Like, hey, I can sit in a fucking chair. Let's do it. I don't know who was the spark here, but what a great idea. I'll get to the Ozzy thing in a second here, but what a great idea. I mean, just
and to what you were saying earlier about the stage setup and everything, and just what I liked about it was, the short sets. It was very Live Aid-esque. The rotating stage, so that while someone's on there playing, the next one's getting set up, and you just rotate it out and just keep it moving. I love that.
Yes, and I'll bring up one thing before I get to the Ozzy thing. It is an Ozzy thing, though. After they finish their set between Ozzy and Sabbath, everybody walks away. He can't get up. He's stuck in the chair. And you see him, the director hit the wrong camera at the wrong time, and you hear him go, turn the fucking thing around. He wanted to rotate the stage around because he's just sitting there looking at everybody. That's just oops. But it was funny. It was hilarious. So to get to Ozzy, it was the guy's an icon, and I was thinking about it. How many living icons do we have left? There's more being produced, obviously, but who are some living icons? Elton John. There's a few guys out there, but this is like royalty. This guy.
There were a shitload on that stage yesterday.
There sure were.
Hetfield. I mean, good Lord. I mean, even the Guns N' Roses. I mean, they're all and they were all there. That metal's finest day.
Yeah, and I can say, and I did think of this while I was watching it. I kept thinking back to, like, when has there ever been a better metal show? And the only thing I could come up with that was close was 1983, the US Festival, and this came close to that. And that one was
you're still ranking Metal Day at the US Festival higher than yesterday.
I am, yes. Mainly because it wasn't like a tribute. It was just a festival. And just heavy hitters. I can still remember Quiet Riot.
He was there, folks. Once again, Marty was there that day. No bullshit.
I was there. I was 15 years old. I don't know why my mom let me go, but I'm so grateful. Kicked off the day, Quiet Riot. Then Motley Crue, Ozzy, Triumph, Judas Priest. Ozzy, Triumph, Judas Priest, Scorpions, and Van Halen. How is that? I mean, to me it was very close yesterday, but hey, I was 15. Of course it was better. I was there.
Right.
But I will say this is just the metal show, like the metal show. And capping it off was, the godfather of it all. we know I mean, we all say Black Sabbath started metal, and we talked about it I talked about it in the other when we talked about track ones, Black Sabbath off of anyway. That song started it like that, dark, scary, and from there it got heavier and heavier and heavier. But that's where it all kicked off. And here they are, and here he is, and it was spectacular. The guy can't walk. He's so they you didn't see any of it, but you could tell they picked him up out of the wheelchair, put him in his throne, and then it lifted up from under the stage, and you could tell he wanted to get up bad. So it was so amazing. Just watching him he's still got it. He still commands the stage. His voice, it's not quite as good as it used to be, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It's not auto-tuned like on the albums. I'll take it.
The only time his voice showed any shuddering or any problem was when he was singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and I know why. It got very dusty in this house. I don't know if it was a haboob or what happened, but then I looked, and it must have been blowing over there too in Birmingham, because I'm joking, of course. Grown men and women of every age singing along and crying. And I even feel a little emotional about it right now, talking about it. It was that big for me. And I think obviously a lot of people, just watching this guy do his thing one last time. And it almost seemed like when he was singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home," it was like he was like saying, "This is it. I'm over." You got that feeling, and I know that's not what the song's about, but you got that feeling of closure, like this. He's wrapping it up here, and I wasn't crying, but you were crying. It wasn't me, but it was.
I haven't watched that one yet, so I'm sure
it was fantastic. I would advise, if you're going to watch it now that it's over, watch the whole set. Like, watch it as one piece. Because then you get to kind of get into the emotion of it all, which was a huge part of it for me.
Sure.
I've been an Ozzy fan since I was, 14 years old, which I won't say how long ago that was, but I was at the S Festival, so I think you get it.
Yeah, you already let the cat out of the age bag.
Anybody can do the 1 year math on that one.
And I'll make it even worse, because you're talking about the passing down of generations. You've got great grandkids now who you can influence musically.
Just about, very close. About a month, I will.
Yeah.
So it really hit me hard. It really, watching an icon do his thing for the last time. And I don't think this is going to be like Kiss. And I'll get to that in a minute. But he played the songs that he should have played. Some people may have, you didn't need to do this, that. Mr. Crowley, I mean, of course you're going to do Mr. Crowley. And then he wrapped it up with Crazy Train, which of course you have to do Crazy Train. And everybody was on their feet. And he was doing this thing where you get everybody to clap. He wasn't requesting that you do it. He was giving a directive. He was commanding that his people clap. And everybody did it. It reminded me of Freddie Mercury at Live Aid. He sitting in a goddamn chair. The whole place, he had everybody's attention. Nobody was in the fucking beer line. It was iconic. I mean, holy fucking shit, man. Even thinking about it, I got to watch it again, man. Just, the guy is one of my favorites of all time, and it's sad to see the end, but this is the end. I mean, it's okay. The ends happen. So anyway, then this is where that incident happened. They finished Crazy Train, and Zach came over, gave him a little hug, said something in his ear, and everybody fucked off. And he's sitting there, and the camera turns on, and he goes, "Turn the fucking thing around." Clear as day. You could hear him almost. That's how clear it was that you read his lips. And so then there was an intermission while they did some shit. They played a few vignettes, and a lot of people talked. Elton John had some nice things to say. And so now the headline of headlines, fucking Black Sabbath comes out, and So I mentioned Ozzy's voice sounded as good as it ever has, almost. And there was no, he didn't seem feeble when he was singing. Just looking at him, he's an old man, and his health is bad. And when he thanked everybody, he said, he's been down for 6 years, hasn't been able to do anything. So to be able to do this meant the world to him. You could see it meant the world to him, and you could see he was tearing up too. This was big. So Black Sabbath comes on, and they are all just still tight. I think Bill Ward struggled a few places, but he made up for it because he ripped off his shirt at 77 years old. It wasn't good, but it was fucking awesome. It was metal. It was what you do, man. I'm a fucking drummer. Drummers take their shirt off. You drum without your shirt. You don't need a shirt. You're doing work. I thought it was great. The whole crowd went crazy when he did it. I thought it was a cool move. He looks like a 77-year-old guy. I mean, it didn't look good, but it was cool. So, Iommi still has his chops. He's still good. And I will say, other than Ozzy, man, Geezer fucking Butler, man, he's galloping along like fucking Steve Harris, and he's got to be close to 82, and he's just ripping. I'm like, man, this is great. So to wrap it all up, they went into their last tune, and Ozzy said, we're going to do our last tune of forever. And shit, that meant something, because this is it. I'm just going to call it. He's not coming back. Maybe they do some studio work. I don't think he's got a whole album in him. This is his last show. I'm pretty sure of it. It's not going to be like Kiss and everybody else for 7-8 farewell tours. I think that was it. He's a sick man, and this was like his last hurrah. And thank you, Ozzy. Thank you. Fantastic, man. I love the guy. Been part of my life for all these years, and thank you for doing it one more time.
Prince of Darkness. I'll say my Hail Marys and Our Fathers later, but to the Prince of Darkness. And my quick wrap up, because I've cycled through as many things as I could in the last 24 hours, but I mentioned Lizzie Hale tearing it on Perry Mason, and also on, what was the second one that she did? It was the Ultimate Sin. She also tore that one. I've always loved Hailstorm, and I always have loved. They do covers, albums, EPs, just to do quick offs and just to show that they pay their respects. And Lizzie's voice just works for anything. And she great representation yesterday. I was showing her love for Ozzy. And also, I liked Alice in Chains. They did Fairies Wear Boots, which is one of my favorite.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
So it was nice to hear them do that one. And but it was great to see him out there, Steven Tyler, because of all of his health problems, having to cancel the Aerosmith farewell tour and even some farewell one-offs, hasn't been able to pull it off. But he didn't do any Sabbath or Ozzy songs. It was the Steven Tyler show. I'm like, that seemed, again, great to see him out there performing and being able to, and pulled it off well.
Oh,
it would have been nice to see him at least pay his respects instead of just doing Aerosmith and a Zeppelin and a Yardbirds tune.
Yeah, that I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you have, I thought that was a little rough. Like this, we all know what this is. You're the guy. You're not going to do it. And also, it wasn't that he just, at least to my eyes, it wasn't that he just wasn't going to do any Sabbath / Ozzy tunes and only do his own tunes. He did other bands' tunes. Yeah, I don't get it. It almost was like, wow, I need to stop shaking the table. It was, I don't know, man. It just seemed like an FU. Like, I don't know. It was weird. It's just weird.
It seemed out of. again, great to see him be able to perform after all the problems he's had. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
By the way, his voice was good. Sounded really good.
Maybe we'll be having one for him, and Aerosmith gets their one-off night, and everyone goes and pays tribute like they did with Ozzy and Sabbath. Who knows? But Steven Tyler would have been nice to represent a little bit for the night. But there you have it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that.
An otherwise phenomenal day of metal.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. Like, I don't know that there's somebody else that could do this, that is as iconic as Ozzy in metal, and even in metal. There's no one as iconic that could do this, that could draw all these people. It
should have happened for Eddie Van Halen. It didn't. But didn't.
And that would have been more of a post-mortem type thing. But
that would have been a tribute there. But while we still have the guy around, maybe Elton John. It would be nice. Or Paul McCartney.
Yeah, Elton John would be a good one, although he seems okay. But really, I mean, there's not a lot of people that can command what Ozzy can command. I mean, that was to me, he's as big as it gets.
We're forgetting a huge elephant in the room: the Stones.
Yeah, well, the Stones are a great band. They're a great band, but it's almost like, well, they're still touring, so
right, yeah. So it's
what are we really getting? Another show?
There will come a time though where Mick or Keith, the last two surviving original members, are gonna be sitting in a chair doing their best.
Yeah, and Bill, and to be clear, Ozzy was sitting in a chair because he's a sick man. He wasn't able to stand, and you could see him wanting to get up, and he knew he couldn't. Yeah. But fun fact, he did the thing he always does with the mic: put it on the thing and take it right back off, and then put it back on, and then take it off. And except for he wasn't walking around, and I was cracking up because if you watch the US Festival Ozzy performance. He walks up to the mic stand, puts it on there, and before he sings it, he takes it off, and he's just putting it on, taking it off 6-8 times a song. It's fucking hilarious.
And give me a spoiler alert, Marty. How many times did he say, "I love you all"?
Oh, 40.
Nice. Okay.
The over-under is probably 30.
That to me is a trademark Oz. I love hearing that whenever I would.
Yeah, he said it a lot. And you know what's funny? There were a few times where you could see he was trying to make sure everybody knew he meant it. Like he was. This meant the world to him. That not only these artists did it, but that all these people came, and then also 6 million. It was 5.8 million people watched it live.
And to do it with his original mates, again, back to the beginning, and Bill Ward wasn't left out like he was on the last album that Sabbath did, 13. So I'm glad the emotionality of it all. I'm glad that Oz was able to experience that with his mates.
Yep. One word: fan-fucking-tastic.
All over the place, where the fun sanity never ends.